an ultrasound, which was really weird because at 19 I would never thought I would get an ultrasound. Hey you guys, so today's video is honestly gonna be really different. As you can read by the title, I was in the ER last night. So if you saw on my Instagram and my Snapchat, you saw that I put a picture up in the ER. Yeah. I got a haircut. This wasn't supposed to be shown until like 5 videos later, but whatever. I was in the ER last night for 7 hours because I've had this massive pain in my side, like right here, and it is a constant like stabbing pain, like someone is stabbing me, and it has been going on since Monday. And so I didn't tell anyone I was having these pains. I thought it would clear up, and then like I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell my friends. I didn't say anything about it because I was like, oh, it's just like a muscle cramp, it'll like clear up in a couple days, no big deal. Well, then the pain like progressively kept getting worse. And so I was like, what the heck, it's not getting better. Tylenol, Aleve, Advil, like any type of like over-the-counter pain medicine just wasn't working at all. And I was like, what the heck? Friday night, it was like so bad I could hardly sit, stand, walk, like it would hurt to move. And I couldn't figure it out. And so yesterday I was at worship practice and I was in so much pain, I started crying. If you know me, you know, 1, I don't like going to the doctor. 2, I hate needles. 3, I don't cry in front of people unless I'm at my wit's end. And I was at my wit's end. And everyone was like, what the heck is wrong with you? Are you okay? Like, we're gonna pray over you. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. I explained to them and they were like, oh, it's probably your appendix. And I was like, well, dang, like, I don't want something wrong with me. Like, no, like, I just started school. I'm taking 4 classes, beginning of the semester. No, I can't miss school. I'm not going to the doctor. I was in denial. I didn't want to go to the doctor. And so last night, I finally was convinced to go to the ER, and I had texted my mom and my dad, and they were in a movie. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna go to the ER by myself. And like, obviously I had people like, oh, we'll go with you. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, I'm not doing anything. I was like, no, I'm not. No, like, it's fine. My mom will meet me there. And so I texted my mom. I was like, hey, I'm going in the ER. She's like, what? Why? What happened? And I was like, I've been having these side pains all week. And she's like, well, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, I didn't want to burden you with it. Like, I'm an adult. Like, I'll take care of it myself. Like, it'll go away. Not a big deal. Wrong. And so me and my mom were like talking, and she's in the movie, right? And she's texting me and she's like, I'm leaving the movie, like I'll be right there. And I was like, no, finish the movie, it's not a big deal. ER takes forever anyway, just stay, I'll be okay. So I got to the ER, I checked in, and I was by myself. And so they signed me in. I'm still wearing the hospital bands. They gave me the orange band because of saying like I was checked in, and then like I had filled out all the paperwork and whatnot. And then the white band is just your normal like medical name, birth date, stuff like that band. And so I was sitting in the waiting room waiting for my name to be called, and this guy and his son was just sitting there staring at me. And I was like, what the heck? Like, if you guys know anything about me, I hate going out in public by myself. And I hate being stared at by guys. And so this guy like kept staring at me, and he like kept looking at me like up and down. Like I was sitting in the chair holding my side. Like I was walking around like this, holding my side. I was sitting like holding my side. It was like crazy. And I've never had this pain before. And so I was sitting there, my name finally got called, and then like I got checked in. They did like the blood pressure thing, the weight, thermometer, like what are your symptoms, what's going on, asking me 50,000 questions at like check-in. I was just like, okay. So I finally got checked in. They were like, okay, we're going to give you an IV. So they put the IV in this arm, my left arm. I don't know why I'm like lifting it. You can't even see it. But they put an IV in my arm to give me fluids. And the nurse that was doing it was like, okay, let me see both your arms. And I was like, it's gonna be my left arm and it's gonna be this vein. She was like, well, I have to check both, like it's my job. And I was like, okay, well, I'm just telling you, left arm, like I'm a stick, like they're not gonna work. And she was like, okay. So she put the IV in my left arm, she got it in, no issues. I hate needles, and I'm still by myself at this point, okay? And so she gave me the IV and put it in, whatnot. And she was like, okay, go sit in this waiting room. And I was like, okay. So I sat in that waiting room, and the same guy that was staring at me walked by, and he's like, hey, I hope everything turns out okay for you. And I'm not even gonna lie, that meant so much to me. Like, at the doctor's by myself, doctors, hospitals, needles, like, wrong, not the one. And so I was like, ugh, thank you so much. Like, I hope everything turns out okay for you. And he's like, thanks. So then I get called to go get my blood drawn, and I already knew they were going to have a hard time finding a vein, because the only vein that really works is this one, because all my other veins are too small, they blow, whatnot. And so the lady doing it was like, okay, well, you have really small veins and like really fragile veins. And I was like, I know, they put the IV in this one, this is the vein that only really works. And so she was like, okay. So she found a vein on this arm right here. She used that vein, and she didn't even get like all the blood she needed. She got like maybe 1 tube, and she needed like 4. And my blood was coming out so slow. And so she didn't even fill the like vials the whole way. She just put like a little in like each one, just so they know, like, just so they had blood. Well, then I was like, wow, I'm surprised you're getting blood. I'm surprised it hasn't blown. And she's like, yeah, you spoke too soon. It just blew. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, I didn't even get enough blood. And I was like, great. And so another nurse came in, and they had to do another round of needles. And so I don't know if you can see this one, but she got me right here again. And so I had to sit through another like pain of needles. And at this point, my mom had just gotten there. And so my mom and my sister had just gotten there. And so my mom was like, why didn't you tell me, like, you were having pain? Like, what's been going on? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I think it's my appendix. It's been hurting so bad. Tylenol, Advil, Aleve hasn't been helping. She was like, okay, well, hopefully, like, nothing's up. So they did a CT scan. Nothing showed up. They did an ultrasound, which was really weird, because at 19 I would never thought I would get an ultrasound. And so I got an ultrasound, and the lady was like, oh, your uterus and your ovaries are like textbook. And I was like, I don't know how to respond to that, but thanks. It made me laugh, so she could tell I was nervous. And so I was like sitting there getting the ultrasound, and she was like, well, I'm not seeing anything, so we'll just send you back. I was like, okay. And so at this point, I'm waiting for results for CT, ultrasound, blood work, and nothing. The guy came back and was like, oh, like, there's nothing wrong. If it still is like acting up, come back in. And I was like, okay. So I got home around midnight. I was there from 5:30 to 11:30. So I was at the hospital for 7 hours. And so I got home, and at this point I had a bunch of messages from Instagram, Snapchat, text, like, are you okay? What's going on? And so this is what's happened. This is what has been happening for the past week. Yeah. So this isn't the next video I was gonna put up. I'm honestly really behind, and I'm so sorry. My part 3, part 4 Christmas video was supposed to go up this week. It didn't happen, obviously. I've been having some issues. I went back to school this week. Was in the hospital for 7 hours last night. So I've got 4 pre-filmed videos that will go up within the next 2 weeks. And then I will be back to once a week updated videos. And so I will keep you guys posted on what happens. I'm still in a lot of pain. I'm trying not to like think about it. I'm trying to keep my spirits up because I don't want something wrong. I hate having something wrong with me, so hopefully like nothing comes up. Sorry my room is a mess. Like I said, I was supposed to do a lot yesterday. Homework, clean my room, laundry, shower. None of that happened. I was in the hospital. So yeah, I got a bunch to do today, but yeah, that's what's been going on. I'll keep you guys updated. Thank you for your prayers. Keep praying that this pain goes away because I'm like at my wit's end with it and I don't want to have to go to the doctors again. So keep you guys updated and I will, yeah. So that is it for this video. There's all the answers to your questions. But yeah, bye guys.